Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Between Two Brokers. We're back.
Yes.
I feel like it's been a minute.
Yeah.
I am swamped. But I'm swamped in a way, you know how sometimes you're busy and you're just like, you are not sleeping and you're exhausted and you just hate everybody and everything. Mm-hmm. I'm swamped in the kind of way where I'm energized by it, sleeping good at night. Honestly, left the house yesterday at 8:30, got home at 9:30, full day, but I feel good about it.
That's good.
Putting out fires.
Yeah. Problem solving. So we'll see how long the energy lasts before I'm crying at night. At night and staying awake and ready for it to all be over. Right. Well, it also depends on the people that you're helping.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Like if the problem solving is going to people who are like encouraging you and supporting you and making you feel good about being a badass, then that's one thing. But if it's like people who are completely, just wackadoos or making you feel bad or unprofessional, that is a whole different level of weight. So I think you can be fueled by, your clients and
we're getting results. It's one thing if
you're
working
moving forward
and there's no productivity, but we're making big strides and I've got multiple offers on my listings and
look at that.
Yeah.
Momentum, progress.
Exactly.
It's
exactly. 2025 has been weird though.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
I feel like it's taking forever to negotiate offers. So, by the time you get something ratified, your dates have to be changed, right? Because it took 5 days and it's like, well, that was 5 days of our due diligence that we weren't planning to waste waiting for you to sign the offer.
Because you're starting so far off in price with the initial offer?
No, not really.
Just terms.
It's like little terms, but either, the sellers are taking their time signing, the buyers are taking their time signing, or there's a little bit of a hang up, or they're like, well, we need to wait and find out this first. But I just, seriously, the last house I put under contract for a buyer, we negotiated for 5 days. With my sellers on this one, it's now Wednesday. We got an offer on Sunday. We're still not ratified. We will be today, hopefully by the end of today. But I don't know. I think it's strange. And those aren't the only two. I've had like 2 others this year that are just, I don't know, dragging out.
So people are being more careful and thoughtful.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. And buyers are really digging in their heels on some stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I had to be a Karen this morning.
Ooh,
can you picture it?
For sure.
Come on. I told my best friend last night because she came over to do a little exchange of things, and she called me like 2 hours later, and I called her back.
Hold on.
Anyway,
that was sus.
And she was like, she can always tell, right? And I really wasn't in a bad mood at this point. I was just thinking, and when I'm thinking, everybody is afraid of me because I think I like purse my lips, and I'm just like, I wasn't really upset at that point, but yeah, I'm getting work done to the house, and the deck is being ripped off, and the screened-in porch, and like redoing everything. And I've been very pleased, like personally, with the contractor that's doing it. They have a ton of Google reviews. They were recommended by my landscape contractor. Ticked all the boxes. I met the guys. I really liked them. And their crew seems to be great, very professional. It took a long time to get the permits and everything, but they came to us on Friday and said some of the joists were rotted. They came over to meet with us. And then they said this can't be used for the type of material that you're putting down. So basically the whole entire thing needs to be ripped off. Of course, John, he's like...
Band-Aids.
He's like freaking out. And I'm like, let's just wait and see what I'm calm. I'm always calm. Let's wait and see what the estimate says. And so we were supposed to get it Monday. Well, I get back get home yesterday and like the whole back of my house has now been removed. Like there's nothing there, which I never agreed to. Oh. I never got the estimate. And so I, contacted the contractor last night. I said, all work needs to stop immediately. Like I haven't agreed to any of this. And then he calls me today and tells me that it's going to be 50% more than the original estimate. So I'm just like, I don't even know. Was I so busy in life before that I would have just like breezed over it? But I'm like, this is so messed up. Now I have nothing. I have no back porch. I have no screened in porch. I have no deck. I didn't approve of any of this. And now you're telling me I have to spend 50% more than the original amount? Like, no.
Can you reenact your Karen-ness?
No. And it was so funny because I was talking to John on the way over here and I was like, babe, I didn't yell, but I like raised my voice, that is very unusual for me. Anyway, my best friend last night, like, cause I told her what was going on.
She came over to do what?
Stuff. And she goes, I said, she was like trying to get me all fired up and everything and tell me all the stuff I should do because she loves that shit. And I was like, I'm not going to act like a 5-year-old. She goes, oh, come on.
Oh, yeah. I can see that coming from her.
But anyway, no, he just said, he's asked me several times to meet. And I go, I don't want to meet. That was my Karen. I said, I want you to send me the information and we can have a phone call after I've had a chance to discuss it with John. Mm-hmm. I don't want to meet. There's no reason to meet. Like, I'm busy, give me the information and let me make a decision. I don't trust you. You told me that this was going to be X and now it's X plus 50%. That's crazy. What am I supposed to do? I have nothing. You gave me no other choices. And what I was saying on the way in here with my walking companion, Justin, was like, this is the kind of stuff that I help my clients navigate all the time. And like, just, when it's happening to me, like the emotion is there. I feel completely taken advantage of. They came out and inspected everything and said, okay, maybe it's going to be 10 or 15% more, maybe 20% more than the estimate, but 50%?
50.
No. So this is unacceptable.
Yeah.
I did not put that in my communication, but I got to figure this out. So I was coming in hot this morning.
I'm sorry. That's frustrating.
I know.
I also had a big day yesterday. I was regaling y'all this morning with all of the wonderful things that we discovered at a house built in 1910 that my buyers have under contract. The fuck of it is that we're still going to move forward on it because of the location and the bones and everything. But there's a lot of work that has to be done. So we have our inspection yesterday, and the inspector is like, I don't think he knew what he was coming to, he lives in like Goose Creek. Okay. So nor does he understand the charm of a house like this and the location for the price.
Oh, wait. So I
walk in and his eyes are like, Erin.
I do not like a judgmental inspector. I don't want, no.
Well, we're close and I feel like he feels like we can, have this little banter. He also asked me if I was going in the crawl space with him. I was like, Harvey, have I ever? He goes, Robert says you do it all the time. I'm like, well, Robert's a fucking liar. This woman has never been in a crawl space.
Oh, I love how they're talking about you up at Cardinal.
Yeah, I think it was a joke. Anyway, he's like, Erin, we got some issues. And I was like, we know, we got it. Just what we don't know anything about is like the electrical and some plumbing stuff. So anyway, we had my buyers are super busy people. They both own their own business. They have 2 toddlers and a puppy, and they work from home, and life is crazy. So I scheduled all the inspections, contractors to come give us quotes all during this 2-3 hour window. So I'm running around with one of the contractors. We're talking about problems that need to be repaired and how much is this going to cost and how much is that going to cost. I forget to tell Harvey that the tub on the second floor in the master bathroom leaks and that they haven't used it in years because it leaks, over the kitchen. And he starts filling up that tub while we're outside. I didn't even know he'd gone upstairs yet. And then he's like, man, this tub's taking a long time to fill. I'm going to go downstairs and grab something. And when he gets down there, he just sees that the water's coming through the ceiling into the kitchen over this dining chair. And he calls me. And so I come running back in there. I was like, God damn it. I forgot to tell you not to turn that tub on. And so we get it plugged.
Wait, are people living in the house?
Yeah.
Oh.
They sure are. The listing agent's the seller. So I, am scrambling. He manages the towels on the first floor. I grab the coffee pot and am trying to unload a massive tub full of water, coffee pot by coffee pot, into the 2 sinks. One doesn't work. So I'm using one sink that drains very slowly, running around to the shower with, loads of bath water, trying to empty this bathtub before the situation downstairs gets any worse. So that was really fun. And then we go into one area of the house and it's like beadboard. It clearly used to be an outdoor porch that became enclosed. Mm-hmm. And so there's beadboard on the ceiling and he goes to like stick it with a moisture reader and it just starts crumbling with termite poop. Okay. Weren't expecting that.
Raining termite poop.
It's raining termite poop.
Do we have any of this on film?
No. Ugh. But I mean, he has pictures of, all that in the report.
See, this is the thing that I think would make a great real estate show.
Oh yeah, it's the actual stuff.
You with the coffee pot, with the tub, with the only one sink working. I mean, were you laughing at all or were you just freaking out?
No, I was freaking out. I mean, I finally kind of like, thankfully the contractor was still there to look at this termite damage. And it, I was like, worst case scenario, because of course, when you ask them, they're like, we don't know what's back there.
Right.
How far does the damage go? Do I have to replace all these joists? Do I have to sister everything? And so I was like, worst case scenario, what's it going to be to redo this room if the termite damage is so bad? And he said $5,000. Mm-hmm. Okay. We're talking about a $1.8 million house. Right. This is not a game changing number. Mm-hmm. So, we worked through everything. And then when we left, I called the seller / agent and I was like, listen, this is on me. I forgot to tell the inspector about the tub. And we did have a situation. Mm-hmm. And he was like, don't worry about it. The cleaning ladies do that from time to time. So, it was like, it ended up all being okay. But it was one of those days where, we had 3 meetings that morning at the office. And then I was going to the inspection. And then I had to, run places in between. I had to go to the BAR to ask about replacement of historic windows for this specific house. Because we have to find out if we can do replacement windows or new construction windows during our due diligence period, because that makes a huge price difference. It's just scrambling, all the while I've got this agent who sent me an offer on Sunday, the one we're still negotiating. Okay, same clients. They have to sell this house in order to buy the house with the leaky tub. And he is started off friendly. Got a big old attitude when, we haven't signed by any of their deadlines, but they keep giving us like quick deadlines, And
you said your people have puppies
toddlers and puppies and, businesses.
And they love chaos, obviously, because they're buying termite, bathtub, leaky house.
They love old houses.
Yes. Yeah. They like having a lot going on.
Uh-huh. And, so we're not signing anything by the expiration times. And, it's very clear to me that his people want the house. But anytime we go back and say, we're going to change this term, and he just cops the biggest hoot with me over the phone, and I'm not here for it. And he says, we've given your people everything that they want. And I'm like, well, clearly not, because we've changed some terms again. Mm-hmm. And he just keeps reminding me that they were the first offer in and, blah, blah, blah.
So he's being a Karen.
He's being a Karen.
Yeah.
It's
being a Karen sucks. I feel so gross right now.
Yeah.
I like this guy that I had to be a Karen to.
Yeah.
So like when you're doing it and then you're going to have to talk to him, but now you know how he is. Anytime you give him that, he's going to give that back to you.
Well, and I'm just killing him with calmness and kindness.
Of course.
I'm not going to mirror that dramatic shit. And it has worked. Like he's calming down a little bit. But then, of course, while we're negotiating, we get a second offer. That's a lot better than his client's offer.
Oh.
And, which he's not happy about. But anyway, so that's what I'm in the middle of this morning. Yeah, I think he's just eager. He's really probably putting the pressure on himself to get
But he's like playing tough guy.
Yeah, and it's just like you always catch more flies with honey than you do vinegar.
Totally.
Between these two agents, honestly, the second one has been so kind and polite and happy and, just like she's also eager to get the deal done. Mm-hmm. She's not giving me attitude anytime I push back or say that doesn't work for my people.
Right. I mean, this is a negotiation 101
It
thing.
is.
Because you don't I don't understand why people misbehave in a negotiation.
Yeah.
You always want to be friendly and easy to deal with so the agent knows that they're going to have a smooth deal with you.
Yeah.
I mean, why would you want somebody where every time you have to call them, they're like, ugh,
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, I'm like, you lose the attitude, okay? Because your folks either want it or they don't, and you don't know how they're going to respond to this term change.
Why don't you tell them?
I might. I might. Well, if we're together at the house during an inspection or something, I might just, face to face. Although my girlfriends say I need to work on my face when I'm delivering bad news.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay, here's the situation. We were in Highlands for New Year's Eve, me and 3 of my girlfriends. And I had been there a couple nights before they got there, and I tell them about this situation where we were at the Ugly Dog Pub, and I go in the bathroom behind a woman, or it's a one stall, so I'm waiting for her to come out. She was in there for a long time. She clearly used the restroom, not just like washed her hands and fixed her hair. I go in there, and there's pee all over the seat, okay? And I come out, and I'm looking for this woman because I want to go up to her and say, woman to woman, if you pee all over the seat, please wipe it up.
Oh,
you don't want to, do you want to wipe up someone else's urine? And so I'm telling them this story, and they start dying laughing. And so we call it my woman to woman face because I was like, woman to woman. They're like, Erin, we need to work on your faces because that is not a friendly face.
Oh my God.
So anyway, I'm, agent to agent. You need to lose your attitude. So maybe it's best over a text or phone call. I don't know.
I don't know. And I think it's pointless to tell anybody anything.
Yeah, they don't listen.
No.
They don't care.
No. So, I mean, you're not going to change somebody that's doing that stuff. In fact, I think it almost fires them up even more.
I have some more complaints.
Okay, go.
About 2025 so far. First of all, just an observation. A lot of people are backing out of their due diligence periods. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's anything inspection related or financing related. I think people are just getting cold feet more than normal. It's an observation. I don't know if you have anything to comment further, but maybe it's just something we'll keep an eye on, see how the year goes. No? Okay. Showing etiquette. I know we've covered this before, but there's some things that have come up for me recently. This woman called me because showing time, required, I put in there like 8 hours advance notice. My seller works from home. So she didn't want to go through, she couldn't schedule the time she wanted in showing time. So she calls me, can we go see the house in an hour? Okay. It's in Mount Pleasant. I'm downtown. My seller works from home. And I say, no, but maybe I can get you in later today. Cause this is also a listing where I'm present for showings. And so she goes, well, I'm in Mount Pleasant now and I live in Goose Creek. So that's really not convenient for me.
Yeah, don't care.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? This listing is not far from where I live. If that time works for your buyer, I will meet them there and show the house for you. Mm-hmm. Okay. She says, thank you. We do it. I meet her client. She doesn't show, which I knew she wasn't going to. Okay. Showing time automatically sends you a feedback form as soon as the showing ends. And if you don't fill it out, maybe 12 hours later, you get a reminder. And then another 12 hours later, you get a last reminder to please fill out this feedback form. I don't get anything from her. I also text her to say, what did your client think? Nothing. I showed your client for you, and then you don't even have the decency to respond to me or fill out the feedback form.
Yeah, but what did you expect from the initial conversation? Entitled, demanding, lazy. I mean, I don't know. Duh. Continue with your bitches.
Okay.
You obviously haven't learned any of the lessons I've tried to teach you as your friend.
Okay.
Keep going with your bitches.
Oh, all right. Here's another one. Okay. They schedule through showing time. This is like 3 days in advance. This is one of my downtown listings. Okay. It's for a Sunday morning. I reach out to my folks, say, does this work for you? Again, I'll be meeting you there. My folks said, can they do it an hour later? Nope. These people have no flexibility in their schedule whatsoever. 11 a.m. is the only time that works. So fine, we make it work. I get there. Okay. Agents don't want to work on Sundays either. Everybody. Okay. Like it's a universal day off. Okay. We're included in that. I will if I have to, but I don't want to. So I get my ass up, get dressed. I skip my favorite exercise class of the week to be at this showing. Okay. Drive downtown, get the setting right, all this. My sellers also have a cat and a dog to remove. The showing's at 11 o'clock. At 11:03, he texts me and says, sorry, we're not going to make it.
Again, this again, it has happened to me. So wait, when did he ask for the 11 a.m. showing?
Thursday.
Yes. This has happened to me before. Do you know the agent?
No.
Okay. So when they aren't bending, I can tell a lot about that. That needs to be a phone call, Saturday PM conversation, also Sunday morning. I'm just telling you.
No, I texted on Saturday
Okay.
and said, I'm meeting you there. Just want to confirm we're still on for 11.
Okay.
24 hours in advance.
Okay. Ooh.
Yeah.
Guys.
Shit list. Right to the top.
Guys. I don't even, anyway, yeah. Agents behaving badly.
I'll remember that if we ever work together in the future.
I know. I don't know how, but like, why did they drive by? Like, what was it? I mean, I would be curious to know that. What was it that made them change their mind from, was it a lack of communication? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I did respond and I was like, how unfortunate.
You're such a bitch. Oh my God. Okay. But
can you share anything else?
Yes.
And I got ghosted.
Of course. So, okay. This is what I tell my clients. So I always try to have them drive by stuff before we see it. If I can tell they don't know the area or whatever. And then sometimes you have clients from out of town who are coming here the first time and they see something and they're like, oh no. And I say, well, we're going inside.
Yeah.
Just let's be polite. This person came and they showed up, and you want to work with me for my reputation, and I am going to respect this person's time and the seller's time, and we're going to walk through it and be nice, and I'll tell them that it doesn't work. Let me do the talking. Just walk around and look at it.
You have to show up.
100%. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, anyway.
Another gripe is when agents answer their phone, hello? Not, hello, this is Erin. Okay, I don't, what, you don't care?
I do this to Stacy, but I don't think,
I think you need to give your name.
As a real estate agent.
Yes, you need to answer your phone and say, hello, this is Stacy, or this is Stacy, doesn't matter how you greet them. But, because if I can't pronounce your name, there's a lot of those going around these days. Charleston loves to collect people with weird names, okay? I think it's just a lack of professionalism. You need to answer the phone with your name. I want to know that I have the right phone number, and I need you to tell me how to pronounce your name.
You know, the one that gets me is the one with the full mailboxes.
Yeah.
I'm like, because I just don't understand that. Like, are you keeping like voicemails from your children that you're like, oh, I loved it when Bobby called? Because it's just like a mystery to me why you would have a full mailbox.
Yeah.
You obviously don't want voicemail, but how can people communicate with you with that? That to me is a big unprofessional red flag. I agree with that. I answer my phone. This is Stacy, and sometimes I'll call, like sometimes when I'm referring business to an agent out of town, I guess is the only time I feel like I've had this happen quite a lot recently. So I'll like be interviewing. So I'll call 3 agents in Charlotte or whatever to try to figure out who's going to work for my client based on personality. So I'll always call them and try to feel them out. And if they just answer the phone, hello, they're out. They're out.
Thank you.
Because sometimes they act like surprised that someone would call them.
Okay. All right.
Like,
as an
and
agent,
we're on the phone all day.
Your phone rings from unknown numbers all day long. Who do you think is calling you? Potential client, potential business, period. You know? And so if you say hello and I go, is this Stacy? You're automatically on the defense because you think I'm trying to sell you something, you know? And so, you know, I'm like, is this Stacy? And you're like, yeah. You know, like with an attitude like, who's calling?
You're right.
Why do you
You're
ask?
right.
You know,
Yeah.
it sets off on a bad tone. Whereas you say, this is Stacy. I'm like, hey, Stacy, it's Erin Spencer, you know, whether I know you or not.
Yes, I agree with that. The other thing that I have put in my Sunday sermons, which is my email to the team and about communication, is the epic monologues with the text messages.
Yeah. Stop.
I mean, we're driving around all day. Like I can't read it. And so I tried to while I'm driving, sorry. And because I'm having to keep up with stuff all the time when I'm going from thing to thing anyway. And so, unfortunately, my parents signed me up for a speed reading class in the 8th grade. I don't think it was very good, okay? Because I'm just picking up this, that, and the other. And I miss things. And I can't solve every time somebody asks me a question on our team, a client, anything like that, I have 1,000 questions in order to answer that question. It has to be solved in a phone call. I don't understand why people are afraid of a phone call.
I agree with you.
I mean, I was afraid of a phone call when I was young because all anybody was doing was yelling at me. For a period of time in my career, I worked in property management. I worked when the real estate market was in the toilet and it took 3 years to short sell your house, so I listened to a lot of complaining and yelling and was, crying, all kinds of things. So I did hate phone calls for a period of time, but why now? Why can't we just, I mean, how long does it take? I mean, fine, I don't even know what the generation Q is. It generation Q yet? Is it Gen Z? Whatever. But I know they can type fast and stuff like that. Nothing can be. I mean, I can solve a problem in a minute on the phone. Stop texting me the epic monologues or even emails, the epic emails. I used to do that too. I was afraid to talk to other agents and clients. I always wanted to make my case. I always wanted to explain everything.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, there's also nuance when you're negotiating, trying to fill people out. So I have a big whole communication etiquette, like way to solve problem thing that I get on my soapbox about at the office. I just find that the most successful agents solve all of their problems in telephone conversations.
I agree with you. And I can't tell you how many times I have sent a text to somebody that, and I forget the word not. Like we do need the due diligence extension and I forget to put the word not in there. It's a totally different message, right?
Or your voice texting.
Yeah. And there's typos and mistakes all the time. I agree with you. There was one thing I wanted to PSA to everyone about this bathtub issue yesterday. If you own a home and you're selling it and someone's coming over for an inspection, don't trust that the agent is
Leave a note.
Going to be there. There should have been a note on that bathtub that said, don't run the water.
Always.
There's a leak. Yeah.
When I go for a listing and they're telling me, if Fluffy gets outside, I'm really afraid that the 3 pit bulls next door are going to just rip her to shreds. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to take responsibility for that. Yeah. I'm going to put it in the listing. I'll call every single agent. Do I need to be here? And we're leaving a note.
Yeah.
Okay. And I will sit in, can we put Fluffy in a crate? What can we do to protect Fluffy? Because agents behave badly. That is always my thing. They leave doors open. They leave lights on. Yes. Sometimes there's a lot going on. Maybe the client is the last one out of the house and doesn't lock the door. I don't do that. I'm like programmed at this point after showing so many houses, but 100% those things happen and people aren't paying attention. And sometimes the agent, let's say you have a husband and a wife and there's a kid. sometimes I'm chasing I don't even want the kid around. Sometimes the kid has to be there and the kid starts jumping on the bed. Or sometimes I'm up there with the kid.
Yep.
I can't manage all the things. You have to be totally explicit with all of the rules.
You do.
And it's another reason that you should be there for showings when you have kind of these like exceptional things or whatever, but notes everywhere.
Yep. Speaking of the kid thing, I had a woman that came to my open house on Sunday with 3 little kids, and I was very engaging. I like kids for like 5 minutes. And so, I was like, playing with them or whatever while she looked around, but one of them went to the bathroom and didn't flush it.
No wonder we didn't have kids. Can you imagine? It's not surprising. It's not surprising. No. Did you even babysit? Did you babysit?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was a big fan of the Babysitters Club series.
That doesn't mean you like kids. My God, I love that. Oh my God.
One other thing I want to touch on. Okay, this goes back to my sassy buyer's agent. Okay, the house I'm selling was built in 1872. Like most houses downtown, there's some windows that don't open. They're painted shut. They are warped. They are, because they have to be historic windows. Okay, there's some wood rot. He sent me an offer with a VA loan. Okay.
Ooh, so he just doesn't know what he's doing.
And before I even presented it to my sellers, I called him and I said, the VA loan's going to be a problem. And he goes, no, it's not. And I said, yes, it is. Let me tell you why. Okay. The windows are going to be a problem. They require a clear CO 100. Okay. Because he also had in there that the CO 100 contingency ends with due diligence. And I'm like, that's not how it works with the VA. Okay. We're not going to have a clear CO 100. The CO 100 also has to include the shed out back because the appraiser is going to give that value. Okay. There's wood rot on the house. It's wood siding. Again, it's 1872. And he goes, we'll just deal with it. I'm like, no, I'm not going to put my sellers in a position where we accept this offer and then 2 weeks down the road, we have all these fires that we have to put out. If there's a window that has to be replaced before closing, that could take 3 months with the BAR down here. Like we're not, I see that one of your people is a doctor. Can they not switch to a doctor's loan? And he got so upset with me and so much pushback. And then guess what happened the next day? They happily switched to a doctor's loan.
He was embarrassed because he didn't know that. And then he had to go back and tell them even after he wrote that. In my opinion, this is the broker's responsibility. At the same time, being the broker in charge, our agents, as much as we train them, as much as we try to help them and lean on them, do things sometimes in contracts where I'm like, why? Mm-hmm. You should know better. So that's kind of part of it, but new agents need to have somebody putting their eyes on all of their offers. I mean, and we did that for a while. Yeah. Like when somebody did something that I thought, wasn't okay, I said, just let me see all of your offers before you send them in. It'll take me a minute to look at them on my phone.
Yep.
And then I can just make sure you're not doing something stupid. Because that's his thing, is that it discredits him. And, unfortunately, guys, I mean, this is why you need to be working with an agent that has experience. That's it. Like you have to. Or if you're working with a new agent that you like, you need to make sure that they have the proper oversight from a broker or a mentor or a team member that's putting their eyes on stuff. I think that's fair, but I think that you need to do the checks and balances and make sure that they've got somebody else's eyes, because people just don't know what they don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was a very strong offer otherwise. And I can see many agents just sending it to their seller and be like, we got a great offer. Do you want to sign it? The seller's not going to know.
And unfortunately, I can also hear this agent saying, oh, she's such a bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When all you're doing is like telling him facts and trying to help him.
I am preventing failure down the road,
Oh my God, he hates you.
Well, and I said, we're under contract to buy something else and it's contingent upon the sale of this. So it doesn't just affect my people, it affects those people that are moving out of a house that they've lived in for 20 years. We've got to figure this out because we're just not going to accept an offer with a VA loan. We're just not.
Right.
I'm just telling you that.
Well, do you have anything nice to say? Any like positive things from 2025? You're busy.
I'm very busy. Yeah.
And that's good. And it feels good. And you've got really momentum.
Good. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I do think it's going to be a good year. It has had a slow start. What we've seen in the Charleston market is basically luxury properties have been doing quite well. Even though they've had, whatever, it's taken longer to negotiate or whatever. Yeah. It's the lower price points that are affected by interest rates that I think have kind of, I don't know, people I think are still apprehensive. They want to see what's going to happen. We have all these theories about the future because of everything that's happening in the political environment. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's important to pay too much attention to that because we just don't have any idea what's going to happen with any of that. We're expecting rates to kind of stay where they are pretty much. Yeah. So, and I don't think, prices have kind of like leveled a little bit, but in the luxury market, I think things are still pretty good.
I think so too. And again, we've said this before. I think Charleston is insulated from some of the other markets that don't have such high demand. We at Smith Spencer do, I can't remember if it's annual or biannual, our 3-on-1s. Annual, just once a year now. And so, we've been having those over the last 3 weeks, and there's been a couple of themes that's I've seen appear through meeting with everybody. And I think a big one is that people have so much going on in their personal lives. Family stress, relationship stress, mental health stuff, financial, whatever. And it reminds me of this quote that my mom used to keep in her email signature that said something like, be kinder than necessary because everyone is fighting some kind of battle. Mm-hmm. And the amount of tears that we've had to wipe up in our office over the last 2 weeks has been, it's heavy. And so I just want to acknowledge that everyone has come to us with some kind of heaviness in their life. And so you're not alone, people.
Yeah. And I think the other thing was like, we've been like, Cynthia and I are the same age and you're 3 years younger than us. Mm-hmm. And like, we've kind of all been through it together through the years because we've been together for probably like 12 years working together on and off. And so, it's life and it's seasons and like, oh my God, how many times have you seen me just be in the hole? Yeah. But I always come back out.
Everyone does. I think another theme that was running through those meetings was agents losing listings to other agents that are promising really high listing prices. Mm-hmm.
So I will say that even though we say that the market here is whatever, steady, healthy, even, overpricing a listing is the kiss of death. Mm-hmm. So if you wonder why your house isn't selling, yes, it is the market. It is the price for the market. So you have to meet the market where it is, or you miss it and then it sits. And then people wonder why the house isn't, why doesn't anybody else want this house? So it's don't fall for that. So when I go to a listing appointment, I mitigate that up front. I address it. I'm like, you're going to have somebody come in here and tell you something that you want to hear so that they can get it. And I'm not going to do that, but I'll work with you on a price. And if you want to do a price that is higher than what, let's say, the comparables show, I'm fine with that as long as we have a plan B and we can kind of work through it, depending on the property, right, and depending on the people. So yeah. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap up, Erin, don't you?
I do.
So like we're just in the first 2 months of the year wrapping up, and we'll see how the rest of spring goes on our next check-in.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. And we will see you next time.